Guys, thank you all for taking the time out of y'all's busy schedule to join us today. So today we're here with Miss Brooke and Miss Mackenzie to talk about West Monroe Neighbors.
Thank
So
you for having us.
thank y'all for coming out today. So Mackenzie, you and I met a little over a week ago. You came, sat down, and we talked about the magazine you guys have just launched for our community. That's I look at it as a very community based magazine that is able to it gives us the opportunity to be able to tell our unique story in different ways within our community. So before we dive into that, I'd like to get to know you guys just a little bit better. So you guys just started this. You launched the first, probably were working on well before January,
Yes.
but you guys launched the first magazine in January.
Yes.
So tell us, how do you guys sound like y'all are pretty good friends? How'd y'all get connected? How'd y'all meet?
Yeah,
How long ago?
it's been over 10 years.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
I don't remember the year, but we've been friends for a long time. Met through one of our mutual friends, Angela Shoemaker, was gross. And we have just been through all the waves of life over the last 10 years. Brooke has seen me at my worst and at my best and everything in between. And we were roommates for a year. We've just
Oh,
kind
yes.
of done life together as we've grown up.
Ebbed and flowed and
Yeah.
learning and grow.
Yeah, there you go. Ebb, flow, learning, and growth.
But your backgrounds are completely different. I mean, I think that's what's going to give this magazine an opportunity to really flourish. You come from a background of in the medical field, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm a licensed PTA, which is a physical therapy assistant. So I graduated in 2019 from BIPSI, Bossier Parish Community College, and worked at Melanie Massey Physical Therapy for about 3.5 years, mainly with pediatrics and a mix of adults. And then switched into the home health setting and did that for almost a year, and then complete career change. And now I'm doing the magazine.
Fantastic. So tell us kind of from your perspective. I know in your background you've got some content creation that's out there, but I mean, this is far from what you originally decided to start doing, right?
Yes. Well, I had a blog for a while, and that leaned into mental health and really just took off towards that direction. But in college, I was the public relation director's student worker. So I did a form of a magazine that went out to the state senators about Louisiana Delta Community College. So my journalistic background actually is coming in handy because this is what I'm getting to do now, except for aim it towards community and everyday people. So
I don't know if you were here when Mackenzie and I was talking about the difficulty that people talk about of finding out what's actually happening in our town.
oh, yes.
I was recently at a West Monroe chamber gathering, and towards the end of it, they were trying to achieve, how can the chamber help? And one of the big talking points that came out of it was, where do we go to find out information? Where's the source? And I know for some people that's been a rub. We discussed before we started recording that, the city of West Monroe, they put information out everywhere, but still some people still have a tough time figuring out, where do I go get information? We used to have network TV back in the day. I think it's still there. I haven't watched it
I don't have cable either.
in quite some time. We're in a streaming world nowadays,
sure.
but that still doesn't always answer the question, because when you're in a streaming world or you're on social media, that one post that you put out there for it, I mean, if you've got 2,000 followers, you may have had 60 that might have seen it
Right.
before it got lost in a feed. And we are starting to see a resurgence of old school type marketing when it comes to print material. I know in my line of work, selling real estate, there's still good sound marketing practices with mail out campaigns or direct mail, and not saying that this is what this is. This does offer advertising opportunities, but what I really like about this is that, Mackenzie, when you sat down and met with me on it, it's about first connecting the community. It's about showing the best our community has to offer. And that really means a lot to me because that's one of the reasons we started this podcast is I want people to see the best and the brightest that our community has to offer. I tell people, and they kind of grimace when I tell them this, but we have everything in our town a big city has. You
Yeah.
just may have to look a little harder for it.
Yeah.
So talk to us, give us an overview of what West Monroe Neighbors is and what you guys hope to achieve out of it.
Okay, so it is, like what you said, a very hyper-local, community-based, feel-good magazine. Like the whole point of this, like what you said, and what we want is to, one, bring the community together. It's kind of like there's a two-prong to it. One prong is the community side of it and being able to showcase cool people in our community, everyday normal people with their talents. It's a very interactive magazine, so it's designed for people in the community to submit content to us because this is not a magazine where Brooke and I are just writing every article and every word that you see.
Definitely not.
The content comes from businesses that partner with us. They get to share and have a voice in the discussion based on their expertise. And then people from the community, whether it's poems or short stories or in the sports section or the recipe corner, like people can submit all kinds of different things to feature in the magazine. So they're taking ownership of it. Like, this is not our magazine. This is West Monroe's magazine. And we are just here to facilitate it, basically, for the community. And
we just help share the stories.
Yeah, we help share the stories. Yeah, kind of giving a platform for people to do that. And the second prong of that tool is on the business side. This is designed to help brand and promote local businesses from around here and help them grow. You know, kind of what you said, this may be kind of veering off, but
It's okay.
how we're kind of, there's so much, like we used to have TV and people would see a commercial. Well, now we are so bombarded with so much information all day, every day, constantly overwhelmed with ads everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, how much of that do we actually retain? So what you said about kind of bringing back the old school of print, we say we offer a social media in print experience.
Sure.
We took the best worlds of print and Facebook, where people get to share highlights and combine them into one to form West Monroe Neighbors, basically. So
There's so much darkness. There's so much turmoil on social media, and we get overstimulated with everyday life. How nice is it to sit down, grab this magazine, shut everything else out, and take a look at local things? Let's read about our neighbors. Let's see about, oh my goodness, there's this business that's right down the road from us. I had no idea existed.
which we have had that.
Yeah, exactly.
Businesses that have been here, businesses that are partners with the magazine. I mean, we've had several. They've been here for, years. They're not brand new. And they said within 2 months already that there are people that have come into their store and said, oh my God, I did not know you were here, but I saw you in the magazine.
Wow.
So already getting the word out and being effective, for 2 months in.
So let's talk about, so it sounds to me like you've got, from a content standpoint, and I'm probably oversimplifying it, but kind of two pillars. Pillar one is going to be content that you guys are kind of curating of what you think is cool about our area and the things that you want to highlight. And it looks like on your front cover, you have people that you try to, within the community, you try to highlight.
Yes.
And then the other side of that is the community submissions to what is happening in their life, the things they want people to know about. So are we heading down the right path with that? Is that kind of the overview of it?
Yeah, that is pretty much the kind of the two prong of, what we
So
do.
talk to us a little bit about that that content that you guys are going to try to curate for our area. What are you going after?
Oh my goodness.
What does that look like?
So I am looking for people's stories, honestly. Everybody has a story to tell, whether they think so or not. Everybody has a story to tell. What you've been through, I haven't been through.
Right.
Or maybe I have, and I just don't know it. I'm looking to shine a light on these people who may get overlooked in our community, who you may see at the grocery store, may wonder about them, but you're never going to ask. I'm looking for poems, creative outlets for people. I'm looking for educational stuff, like if you're a new mother, and you found certain techniques to be helpful. I want to hear about it. This is not just for like farmers or teachers or growers. This is for everybody. Like, I want anything and everything I can get my hands on to help share other people's stories.
So do you envision that you'll end up having different categories at some point down the road? As I mean, I am very small fish in a very big pond when it comes to content creation, and I understand the difficulty of trying to stay fresh and creative and get new things to put in there. Do you see yourselves getting into content that's related to, and these are very generic, like home and garden section? Now we're going to have something about what's happening next month. And do you envision that happen, or are you looking for more of an organic? Let's just kind of see what's out there that we want to talk about right now.
I think probably a mix of both.
Both, yeah.
Because, like you said, we have 2 editions out, and people are still finding out about this. Like, hey, what is this new magazine? What's it about? And so we're kind of what we've talked about, like the snowball effect. As it comes out and the word gets around and people start to understand what this is like, if we have, like, for example, a home and garden, if we have a ton of information coming in of people wanting to talk about that, then we could make that like a staple section. Right. And then we're always open to the organic. I think we're not really boxing it in.
No, we're actually letting the community decide. Whatever we receive is what we're going to put out there.
Yeah, but I think on some level that you're going to have kind of a platform to coax the community to be able to come in. I mean, it's hard to get somebody
to be vulnerable.
Yeah, that is true. In society, I've found that we don't give people a level of comfort to be able to talk about themselves. We view that as, well, they're just bragging. I'm sure you guys have had the friend who has a kid that does no wrong, and they want to talk about how their kid is whatever. And then after the fact, like, well, did I talk too much? But nobody asked them, tell me about your kid, because they're always talking about their kid at that point. So there are some people that just feel uncomfortable talking about themselves. How do you get those people to lean in so that you can tell their story for them?
I think the main thing that I have been focusing on, and Mackenzie here right by my side, is relationship.
Yeah, so important.
I cannot expect you to come here and talk to me about your life without having the basis of a relationship. So I like to interview personally, one-on-one. Let me get to know you. Let me talk to you first. Let me know about you. And let's have this little relationship built. And then once that trust is there, and it's mutual, once I trust you and you trust me, then we can just start talking. I like to lead it with a conversation, and let's see where it goes. And through this conversation, I find tidbits that maybe they haven't even thought about to be newsworthy or writability. But it's like, no, that's amazing. Like, you have such value in your story. And relationship has been the biggest thing that has been the catalyst for having these articles.
What advice would you give to someone that is like, I have some information I would like others to know, but I'm not good enough. It's not enough to be article worthy. We all know there's people that are like that. And I would say it's a lot of people, but I would agree with you that everybody does have a story. And one of the things I would tell those people, and you probably could put it better than me, is don't be selfish. Let other people be able to hear what you have to say.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. People truly want to hear, but sometimes it takes someone like a professional like yourself to be able to sit down and make sure they feel comfortable. So what would you say to people that they have a story, and that story may not fit everybody of what they're wanting to hear, but you're going to have you're going to have a lot of people that are going to value someone being vulnerable, whether it's about some history that they've had in their life, it's about something new that they've thought of, or it's just a celebration they want people to know about. What would you tell those people to encourage them to kind of come out of that shell and open up?
First of all, I would just say, let's just have a conversation.
No pressure.
I am still struggling myself. I struggle with feeling like I don't have anything to say. That is something that I believe is just innate. That's how we've been raised. Like, we're not supposed to feel good about ourselves whenever we do something good. That's, like we said earlier, bragging or whatever.
Sure.
But everybody deserves to be celebrated. Everybody is worthy of that love and celebration. And I would just say, like, let's just have a conversation. Just start with, like, emailing me. We can have a little bit of a conversation there. And then the best thing about this magazine is we have full creative liberty. I get to ask what questions I want to ask.
Sure.
So let's say right here, our first edition was about the Robinsons. We leaned that one towards community, what they like to do with the community and everything. Our second edition, that is about their love story. That is about their marriage advice. So not every edition is going to be the same angle. So there's room.
To capture everyone's
There's
angle,
enough room here.
basically.
Yeah.
And to slightly ping off what you said, in the February edition, there was a quote in there, something to the effect of, like, if this article or whoever's reading this, if it helps one person or one couple, it's worth it. And so that's kind of the mindset too, is when people, I think the fear of, is what I have to say relevant to everybody?
Right.
And that's not necessarily what we're going for. I mean,
Sure.
obviously, yes, but if what you have to share and what you're passionate about or what's on your heart touches one other person in
That's
a good way,
enough.
like, that's enough.
That's
for
enough.
us.
Because we are all not the same.
Right.
Correct.
And if we were all the same, it would be a boring place,
Right? How
right?
terrible that would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, it would depress me at that point.
Yeah.
So let's give the listeners just some ideas, just to kind of let them know within our community. For me, it comes down to: are we going to tell our story, or are we going to let someone else tell it for us? When I see someone else tell it for us, how many times have you saw posted on social media where your city ranks in the crime, or you throw out whatever negative term you can, and that's what people typically want to focus on. And
Yeah.
if we don't stand up and try to take our community back and tell our community story, we're going to rely on other people with, frankly, just small-minded people to tell a negative story about. Everybody can focus on the negative, but it takes big people to focus on the positive. And there's a whole lot of freaking good that we got going on in our community right now. So
That is so
really
true.
appreciate. But let's give the listeners some ideas of some stories that you guys would like to see. I don't want to limit people, but just to kind of get some ideas going. What would y'all like to see in this magazine?
Oh my goodness. I would like to see some couples talk about how they helped settle in their children or adjust to a new child. Practicality. I would like to see practical things.
Yeah.
Not only that, I want to see your dreamers. Like you said, this area has so much potential. This area has so much good, but this looming darkness is overhead. In this magazine, we want to try to break through that darkness and shine that light in the good. I want to see your grandmother's recipes. I want to see a story about when somebody else did something very nice for you and something good, and how that touched your heart. How everyday random acts of kindness can snowball into this glorious effect of lovingness in our community.
It's like the ripple effect,
Yeah.
kind of,
Exactly.
Yeah. for
So,
sure.
I know that your expertise is going to be more, or is more, on the sales side. I mean, it does take advertising to get something like this out to the community, because this is not a magazine you guys are charging for.
Right, yeah.
So to be able to pay the bills and get the quality content and the just the photos and all that, it does require the local businesses to step up and support this as well. And I think looking at the February one, you've got a lot of great businesses already in there that have signed on to say, yes, we want to see this thing work.
We do.
But talk to us a little bit about from a business perspective, how you hope to enhance what they already have going on.
Yeah. So like you said, we've had tremendous response and support from the community, which we've talked about this. Obviously, when you start something new, I mean, it was a risk,
Sure.
obviously, like going out on a limb, complete career change for me, and just trying to start something from scratch, which is what we did. So the initial businesses, like even in the January that agreed to do this, and they believed in something and was like, hey, I will support this without anything tangible to see.
Yeah, because when you went to them on January,
there was nothing.
I got nothing for you. It hasn't gone out.
Yeah, we just had an example,
right.
Mayberry magazine. So it was, those initial businesses will always be so tremendously special to me and Brooke and this whole process, because I mean, like what you said, every business that partners with this magazine, they are what make it possible.
Sure.
So that's
and we've already had relationships established.
Right.
Through those first businesses as well. They are coming back to us and being like, oh my goodness, I would love to write about this because of our expert articles that we offer. Like Bailey's cleaning service was our first one, and she got to write about how to declutter your home.
Like going into the new year,
wow.
Yes.
Different things like that. So that's something, what we offer is very unique. I feel like to this area, we offer on the business side, we offer a multi-channel approach to branding. Like this is what this is. This is a branding campaign, and this isn't just a magazine. This is about providing a platform to connect businesses with their neighbors and the people right in their own backyard on a deeper emotional level. So it all kind of plays into how we said, like, we are so bombarded with ads all day, every day, on our phones, on the radio, TV, everything. And it's just like, it's white noise, right? So you think about when you go through your typical day, or we're all scrolling through our phones, how many of those ads do we actually remember or retain?
We scroll past them.
We scroll past them. So kind of the difference in what we do. So we have the print magazine. We also have a digital component as well, like sponsored ads for these businesses. But the difference is that when people choose to partner with this magazine and support it, they are choosing to brand themselves in something that allows the development of that emotional connection through the print.
Yeah.
So when someone's looking through this and they're reading about the athletes of the month or their recipes submitted by their neighbor and all this stuff, and they're seeing the ads of these businesses and they're reading their expert articles, that kind of translates into, hey, this is not just another business. This is my neighbor. This is someone that's a part of this community. They belong here.
Right.
So when that translates over into the digital world and the ads, it's like that emotional connection is fostered and it's growing because of the print. So when that translates over into the digital side, when they do see their ads of Bailey's cleaning service, it's less like white noise and it's more, oh, that's Bailey from my community magazine. They are supposed to be here. That is a person, a human, and I know their story.
It already builds a level of trust through print.
Right.
Like, social media is so big and so wide and so loud.
Yeah.
I love that we are reverting back to print, tangibleness, something I can hold, something I can take to my mom and show her, like, did you see this magazine? Did you see this article? Did you see this whatever recipe?
Sure.
Or I think that is a level of warmth. And it just takes me back to my childhood. It takes me back to the reading a magazine with my grandfather, looking at something with my dad, just something tangible that I can have and hold on to. And I think that, like you said, that fosters so much in a community, like hope and love and trust and warmth. And those are the things that we're trying to encapsulate right there.
Yeah.
One of the things, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just going to, one last thing, because we as humans, we crave for connection anyway.
Yes.
And so, in regards to like around here, everyone's saying, shop local, shop West, like support local here. People want to know who they're doing business with, and especially when you're calling up a roofer or an AC guy to come work on your home, which is a big investment. Most people aren't just going to want to call the first person that shows up on Google. They want to trust you and know you. And so we kind of foster that connection of getting people, like, they're going to know who you are, not just, hey, this is a logo. They're going to know the deeper story behind that.
Well, I'm going to tell a little bit of the story how you and I got connected. So you had reached out for some advertising opportunities for real estate. And I think you ended up speaking with Alex first. Alex, connected me and you. And then I'm going to be transparent with you for a minute.
Go ahead. We like it.
One of the, and I'm getting to a point here, one of the things that I do for people because when you're in real estate, when I got my real estate license, the guy that taught the class, he said, look, there's two ways to make money in real estate. He said, you either sell real estate or you sell things to real estate agents. So everybody's got a new advertising avenue for you to go down. They want a little here, want a little there. But when I gave you the time slots I had available to meet, time slots I gave you were 6:30 to 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, if somebody is willing to commit to meet with me between 6 and 8 in the morning, their commitment level is pretty high. And you didn't want to have a phone meeting. You want to have an in-person meeting, which spoke to me on how relationships really matter. And what you guys were going for is truly genuine. And as you walk me through the process of what you guys offer, I did not feel at that point it was just somebody trying to get another check from me to stick my name someplace and forget about me. I really felt like that there's going to be a connection within the magazine and with your organization, it was there to be a win-win, not just to collect a paycheck at that point. So speaking to all of the businesses that are out there, if somebody wants to get connected within something, I do believe that you guys have something worth taking a look at. Ultimately, it's going to have to be what's going to work for them and their business model. But you really impressed me, and it takes a lot nowadays because I've been around the block a time or two and sold things that didn't quite work, but the approach that you took was very genuine. I think the product you guys are putting together is needed within our community. I do think there's a place for it. Let's talk about distribution and kind of how that looks right now. So this is not something that's going to be dropped on your doorstep necessarily. So this is mailed out.
Yes.
Give us kind of 10,000-foot view on distribution right now.
Okay. Well, thank you for saying that. Getting that feedback, first of all, that's the heart of what we want. Anytime I go meet with anybody, one, I like to meet face to face, develop that relationship, that connection, to hear your story, to share about what we're doing. And if you feel like it's a good fit, it's a good fit. And if not, that's totally okay, because it won't be a good fit for every business, and that's totally fine. But as far as distribution, so the magazine, it doesn't get distributed to, literally every house. Right now we have a select distribution area that reaches, it's specifically mailed out to homes in West Monroe. Now, businesses from Monroe and Ruston and from wherever can advertise in here, but it gets specifically mailed out to West Monroe homes. Every single month, it's mailed out directly in their mailboxes. So their mailing address goes up here, mailed directly to them. And we specifically target homeowners, because the types of businesses, in the service industry, that's what drives majority of the profit for small businesses. So that's kind of who we target.
Well, I think it's great. And has anyone ever asked you to meet as early as I've asked you to meet yet?
No, you were the first. You're the earliest meeting that I've had.
Well, I'm really appreciative, number one, that you took it. It really spoke to what you're trying to, the goals you guys have, because you're committed to them. We spoke briefly during that meeting about you transitioning from the kind of 9-to-5 type work into being a small business owner yourself. And I would assume that you're at this as an independent contractor going in with it. So it's like you got this business you're trying to build. but you took it serious. You guys are taking this thing very serious, and you're all in. This is not something you're sticking your toe in the water.
No,
It's just
yeah,
like
like
we're full force. We're all in. We're going to make this happen. We're going to be successful.
I did. I quit. I mean, I quit my full-time therapy job to do this full-time. And like we said earlier, it was a big risk, but I am so glad that I took the leap because it's been amazing. Like we've just had, in just 2 short months, have had phenomenal feedback from people, getting the magazine, support from the community, businesses.
Met so many amazing people.
Yeah, and just people being able to connect with people like Courtney Hornsby, at the mayor's office. And a lady reached out to us that's doing an event that started a nonprofit for mothers against drunk driving. Like that they wanted. Just so many cool different people that we're going to be able to meet and connect with, and like you, and being able to have this experience.
Well, I also think that it's a heavy weight to know that you're now responsible for content for West Monroe Neighbors. Not trying to put that much of a heavy weight on you, but I do think it's an honor that you guys have to be able to deliver that content out there. And for those that are listening, I know the hearts of these ladies of what they're trying to accomplish here. And you're going to look through the first couple of magazines and you're going to see content and a mixture of advertising. But I guarantee you, as this thing grows, you're going to see more and more content, local content from real people doing real things. And it's not all going to be Instagram life stories. It's going to be the realness of our community, but the best we have to offer.
Yes.
There's a lot of cool stuff that happens in this town. And I want people to know it just like you guys want to know it. It's the community I was born and raised in. I mean, I've lived in Ouachita Parish my whole entire life. I want people to love it like I love it. I'm raising a family here. I want my kids to be able to stay here when they get out of school and enter the workforce. I don't want them to have to leave. I mean, I don't want to hold them back, but I want to see our community grow. And the more we can tell our own story instead of having other people tell it for us, I think the better we're all going to be, because we have a beautiful community, and there's a lot of people doing a lot of really cool stuff. So thank y'all for coming in to just kind of express what the magazine is and kind of what your vision is to be able to make it grow and how you're going to benefit businesses through the process if they want to partner with you guys. I was impressed enough to be able to ask you guys to come on and talk with me about it, because I think it's really good with what you are doing in the community. So I'm going to give you that encouragement just to keep pushing forward, go after the real stories, and I think you guys are going to do great with it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing. We're excited that you had us on here, and very grateful.
As we come back, so here's my challenge to you. When you double in page numbers, I want you guys to come back, and I want you to tell us kind of how the progress is getting here, because I don't think it's going to take you long at all to make that happen. I really don't. I really don't.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming and giving us this time, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to watch or listen to this podcast. We really appreciate your involvement. Please leave us a comment, or even better yet, subscribe to this podcast and hit that notification bell so that you can be alerted for every new episode when it hits.